Hey guys, Robert Lunt here with Realty One Group Skyline, and today I'm going to go through the number one question that I always get, and it's, is Parish, Florida, does it flood, right? Is it in a flood zone? And the answer to that is a little tricky, but in my experience, and I'll go through some of these facts and details about how the communities are designed, you know, the different flood zones, when and if you require flood insurance, and will it last for how long will you need it for, right? So a couple of things is that, number one, Parish is 30 feet above sea level. So 30 feet above sea level. So we do border Palmetto, which borders Tampa Bay, and we do have the Manatee River, which comes into the southern tip of Parish. So that area is a little bit lower, but as you get to the North River Ranch area, you get closer to Hillsborough County, because it's boroughs of hills and boroughs, right? Hills and boroughs, it's higher land. So as you get to Hillsborough, you can start to see hills, where when you get south of Hillsborough County, you're in Manatee County, all the way to Miami is lower and flat. But Parish is like right there, where it's like just on the border of Hillsborough County, so it's still high ground. So like even Duet, Parish, it's high ground. It's away other than being on the riverside, it is away from the ocean. So if you're over by the river, you might get swells during hurricanes, you know, like the backflows from the storms that pushes the water up the riverways and stuff like that. But that's the only way I mean, it's been raining a lot, like a very lot, like I would say over the last month. Probably, you know, other than the last 3 days, it's rained for like a good hour, I would say, every single day for like the last 30 days. So we've gotten an exceptional amount of rain. The way that these communities are designed, because it was a lot of farmland in Parish, Florida at one time, and you had, you know, the land was contoured for crops to hold water, and for cattle, right? And for livestock. So it was contoured so it would hold, you know, for ponds and lakes, and irrigation for, you know, watering crops. So it was contoured for some low spots for farmland. But then the developers just came in over the last few years and have redeveloped all of that land. And right now I am sitting at the edge. This is the end of Ford Hammer Road. This is like where the development stops right now. So this is the most recent development. This is by Neal Communities, guys. So as you can see, the way that these areas are designed, you know, this goes up pretty high. As you can see, like you go down, that's like almost like going downhill, and then you'll have these ponds everywhere. So these are all man-made. These weren't here. These are not natural ponds. So, and what you'll notice is that right in that corner, you'll see like that grate. So if that water ever gets up that high, right, and that's connected to that lake. So if that lake gets too high, it levels out with this one a little bit, If that one gets too high, it'll level out into the lowlands across the street into another pond, and it's connected like that to where it just keeps leveling out to each other, guys. And all of the lots, right? These lots over here across the street, I remember like a few months ago, they were lower than the street, but now they are higher or almost level with the street. And then there's like a, you know, a swell in between them, which you will see right here. This is Bella Lago, by the way, over here. There's Bella Lago, and then this is gonna be Long Meadow. This is the middle school, the new middle school right over there. There'll be townhouses right there. And you'll have these little swells in the middle. So like if you had a street and a sidewalk, you'll have, you know, a little valley here. And typically there's like, I know down in that corner, there's like a sewer grate, and then that goes out to the pond across the street. And then even in the streets, you'll see little areas where there's sewers, where some of this, you know, water travels. And I'll show you one spot that's crazy. It's down, and there's like a preserve down at the end over there where that tree line is. And like for this street, there's like a rotary here, and that goes like straight downhill past the middle school, and it goes into this preserve over there. So like when it rains a lot, like all this water is coming down that street. You can see it's like a little waterfall going into the preserve. It looks like a river, you know. And it's like, you know, because it kind of gives you like a revelation of like how like land is formed. It's like a little mini version, because this is so newly developed land, and now, you know, water is taking its contoured shape throughout the land around it as the water goes into its new spots, right? So because this land all got redeveloped. Now part of Parish, you know, was in an AE, which is like every 100 years flood zone, something like that, right? So, and then flood zone X, which is like really no chance of flooding. You don't need flood insurance. But with an AE, even if like part of your yard, like the back part of your yard is in an AE, insurance companies still want you to get flood insurance. And but a lot of these communities that were in AE, like Bella Lago, they brought all the properties up out of the flood zone, and they are replatting all the maps and getting the new elevation certificates. So maybe when you close, you need a flood insurance just to close. But then as they finish the community and they replat all the maps, and then FEMA gets the new elevation certificates, they will take your property and deem it an X versus an AE. Now, it's not guaranteed in every single case, guys, because I do have a property where I have flood insurance on one of my rentals, and I thought that it was going to come out of I thought that's what was going to happen, but I just literally got the new maps. I got the new thing, and still a little part of the backyard is in an AE, so they won't. I still got to pay like $70 a month for flood insurance. It's not crazy, but you know, it's still, you know, $70 a month you're throwing away when you know the house is never going to flood, because of there's ponds and irrigation ditches, and in between every single house, you know, it's contoured like this. So, you know, all the water coming off the roofs, and then it flows downward into the street. So it slopes downward, and then where it slopes backwards, like into the backyard, and then there'll be like a, you know, it'll go to the back over there, and there'll be like a little sewer grate sometimes in between some of the properties, and then that'll go out to these ponds and lakes, you know, like you see here. So which are all over the communities everywhere. You'll see them strategically placed throughout each new community. That's what they do. They put in all the ponds first, then they put in all the roads and the sewer lines, and it's all planned out ahead of time. So there is no flooding. So this is Florida. They've been through that, and with brand new development and construction, they want to avoid that. Plus you have block houses, as you can see. These are all block homes on slabs, made in, you know, concrete. So the chance of water coming up into them is pretty much slim to none, you know, other than like say the front door or the back door. But water never comes up there because it's so sloped. It's sloped. All the properties are sloped, and I will show you that here in a minute. We'll take a ride over to Bellalago and I'll show you exactly what I am talking about. But as you can see, you know, here's some footage of my home during the rainstorm, like just about 30 minutes ago, and out in front of my street. And one part that can happen, so there's two caveats to that, and one is going to be if you have those power boxes, you know, which are, you don't have, as you notice, there's no power lines above the street, right? They're all underground. So what you get is these little like transformer boxes, as you can see over there. So those are like your transformers. You get those boxes there, and you'll see them every few houses. You'll see those in between the houses. Yeah, and just like I said here, guys, right here, you get all your water flows down into there and right into the pond. So that's the street irrigation ponds. But you'll have those boxes, and they'll put those right in between the houses, so that can mess up your contour and your slope for water to escape. So sometimes you'll get some puddling right behind those boxes, but usually after about 30 minutes it will subside and absorb into the ground. And then another caveat would be if you get a swimming pool. So if you get a swimming pool and then the construction company for the swimming pool, the installation company, has to bring all their tractors through, all their bobcats, all their, you know, forklifts through the yard and mess up the original contour that the builder put on there of the slope, they can create standing water too. So by the time you get the irrigation put back in and fixed, and then you get new sod, and if the new sod company, you know, I don't think they usually do grading, right? So typically they're putting in the sod, and if you're not having someone regrade, make sure that the slope and the grade, you can get a little standing water in between the houses after your pool is installed. So I mean, over time, naturally the water will reform the land, you know, just like a river or a valley, right? So, but it takes time. So it takes a couple of seasons for that to occur. It doesn't happen right away. So right in the beginning, you might see some standing water, and you might see some areas where you might need to add some soil, you know, and build the turf up a little bit. So yeah, guys, as you'll notice, you got ponds and preserves. You know, this is Bellalago. You got these irrigation lakes all over the community. You got these slopes and the roads. But everything is pretty flat, you know, pretty much flat except for when you get to these home sites, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get over here, guys. But you'll see, like, in between these homes here, you know, it's a little bit low. You get that low spot right there. You see where the part in the grass is. So they kind of meet there, and that's where the low spot is, and that's where the water will flow to. And then it'll come right through the middle of the homes, right into the street here. So, you know, sometimes right now they're obviously not finished with this ones, but you probably see a little bit better here. Yeah, you can see that slope and see that little stream of water. That's how the water leaves in between the houses. You get that like little stream right there. Until they put the grass in, you know, the roots of the grass will really eat it up. So once the grass, you know, a couple seasons of grass, but it just rained heavy, guys. So as you can see, you know, definitely no water sitting in front of the houses. On the back, you'll just get like a little bit in the sides there, just in that middle spot, temporarily. So, and then they'll typically do stuff about here. Obviously, that's clogged up. They have those blocked up right now because they don't want construction debris getting stuck in the sewers. So those puddles like that will go away after they take the bumpers, the plugs out of the sewers, because they don't want all the construction debris ending up in the ponds or clogged up in the sewer lines and have to dig up the street to unclog them. So as you can see here, guys, you know, this house is out in the middle of nothing, but this is all the fill right here. So then they use this to pad the lots. So they have all this fill, and then they use all that dirt, and then they'll pad your home site with that fill first. And then, you know, these are all fresh home sites that have not been padded. They just have the sewer lines already installed. They have the sewer really at the street. So, and then these are those utility boxes. So like that'll be right in between. That's the middle of two houses right there. So that's like the property lines, you know, that's where your water meters are. You'll have like those little boxes there. And then sometimes that'll create a little flow issue with the water. But specifically not so much those are for the like spectrum and all that. I'm talking about more about these transformer boxes like right there. Those are like for your, you know, for the power lines, because your power lines run underground. So those boxes will be like in the middle. Typically that can mess up the slope a little bit, but it just creates a little standing water for a little extra time. So guys, I hope you're enjoying my video. If you're not familiar with my channel, hit the like, hit the subscribe, check out all my community tours, check out all my educational resources, guys. Always feel free to reach out to me or comment with any questions that you have below. 941-879-4730. This is Realty with a rebate. I give most homes, I give you a $2,000 rebate for working with me. So if I represent you as the buyer's agent, I give you $2,000, you know, Venmo, Zelle, however you want it. You want some upgrades done to your home, you name it, guys. I can do it however you choose to receive your $2,000, unless it's at a couple specific builders that don't really pay commissions, or if it's on cheaper homes where, you know, especially like I believe it's Ryan Homes, they only pay $2,000, so I cannot do that on them. But pretty much everyone else is either paying 2% or above. So and they're not going to discount just because you don't have a realtor, guys. They're not going to discount the home anymore because they do not want to mess up the comps for their appraisals. So keep that in mind if you think you're going in there guns blazing, no realtor, and you're going to get a better deal. That typically is not the case, guys. So they're really being competitive with the comps because appraisals can come in short. They have been coming short from here and there from what I've been hearing. So they do not want to keep dropping prices, because you'll get builders that just go rogue and then they just drop the price and then they screw up the comps for the builder next door. So you get a lot of that politics going around, and then, you know, builders are raising prices and giving you extra incentives, guys. But anything you need to know about Parish, Florida, Lakewood Ranch, Wamama, Palmetto, Manatee County, South Hillsborough County, guys, North Sarasota, I'm your guy. I've been doing this for 8 years. Like I said, I've been flipping houses. I'm a landlord. I've been selling new construction after new construction after new construction, representing buyers, doing listings, guys. Ever since day one, I've been knocking on doors, getting listings, and that's how I got started in this business. And so, yeah, guys, anything I can help you with, feel free to reach out. 941-879-4730. Check out robertlunt.com. I've got some great resources on my website as well, guys. Call or text me anytime, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.